Welcome back to the Secrets of the Self-Made. Today, I have Leslie on my podcast. I was recently on her podcast, and we immediately felt a connection between the two of us. Like, I feel like we've met in another life. So I knew that after finishing up her podcast, I was like, I need to talk more to her. And I want to introduce my audience to Leslie Thornton. She has so much to share, and I think you're going to be so inspired by what you have to hear. So she is an author. She is an NLP trainer, and I'll have her tell you a little bit more about that. A hypnotist, an executive coach, and the founder of Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss. Leslie has helped hundreds of people around the world overcome the mental obsession with food, body, and their weight. And so I couldn't think of a more perfect person to spotlight today than Leslie. So thank you so much for coming on to Secrets of the Self-Made, Leslie. It's so good to have you.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So, okay. First off, you have to tell us about all of your credentials. I want my audience to know, what is an NLP trainer?
Yeah, well, Neuro-Linguistic Programming is basically, as we're going through life, so hypnosis changed my life. I'll start there by telling people that I'm a nurse by trade. And so science was kind of my middle name. And, dieting my whole life and trying to do all the exercise. I became a personal trainer and became a nurse, all the things for that. And I think the reason that I decided to go on the health path so hard was because of my fear of weight gain. Because of, just constantly trying to control what I was eating and feeling like shame and guilt around it. And so anyway, but I looked at it as health conscious, but I got to a part of my weight loss journey where I was at the end of my rope. Like, I had just put on weight again after losing a bunch. I had terrible acid reflux. I was, just miserable, fat and unhappy. My jeans weren't fitting. And yeah, I just really, it was like, what am I going to do? I feel like I cannot actually do another diet again. And I also feel terrible and feel like I need to lose weight. So what do you do? So I didn't really have an answer at that time, but I kind of surrendered it for a while. I ended up doing a cross country trip to San Francisco post college, and was kind of playing around with different things of not dieting, but how can I be healthier and these types of things. It was still something I was thinking about. And then one day when I was in San Francisco, I actually stumbled upon hypnosis for weight loss. And I was very skeptical of that. I was like, what the heck is this? Right? This can't actually work. If this actually worked, why wouldn't they have taught me this in nursing school? But I was so desperate for anything that I was willing to try anything on. And so I actually, experienced the hypnosis and woke up the next day and knew that the initial thought that I would be thinking would be, what am I going to have, for breakfast, coffee? Do we have enough food in the house? Like, just this normal, right, thing that would go through my head. And then feeling like that would be the only thing that would motivate me out of bed. It's just like, if I had that thought of what was going to get me there. But this specific morning post hypnosis, I felt for the first time ever that I was actually sitting inside my own body. There was a little bit of a tingling feeling in the air. I could actually feel the sun on my face as I was laying down. And I knew that those thoughts would normally be the ones that were constantly. And just to let your audience know, for anyone who sees themselves in this, I was constantly thinking about food, body, and weight. It was overdrive. It was a lot. And it was for many decades, a lot, any idle time in my, you know what I mean? And but it doesn't matter how big or small you are. I always said, I had the mind of a fat kid. I kept it controlled because of all my health consciousness. And it was a journey to actually realizing this is actually a mental and emotional issue, So this is a huge breakthrough and relief to wake up this day and know that that would normally be what was happening, but it was not happening. It wasn't driving the bus anymore.
Yeah.
And it got to a place for me where it was I would tell myself I'm not going to have anything. And my hand would end up in a chip bag and I didn't know how it got there. And it scared me. I was like, maybe I'm an addict, maybe I'm out of control here. Like, and then then it just kept piling onto each other. So this is huge breakthrough. And then I just became, from that day forward, like so obsessed with everything that had to do with the unconscious mind. I was like, if I could get over decades of an issue in one hypnosis session, like what else can I do with my life? And I know, Secrets of the Self-Made, like this was the turning point,
Yeah.
and realizing, as I know the work that you do, like the thoughts and the beliefs and the energy around everything that we're doing is every bit of contributing to that, to how we become successful in that way. So all the way back around to your question. So neuro-linguistic programming was one of the modalities that I found that kind of always goes with hypnosis, as I got trained in hypnotherapy and neuro-linguistic programming. So essentially what it is getting that our mind works in pictures, right? Like when you think a thought, there's a picture that comes in. Also, the first 0 to 10 years of our lives is when the blueprint of the unconscious mind is laid out. So we have these pictures going on at lightning speed all throughout our day based on everything that's coming in. I want to share a quote that I just heard from Dr. Joe Dispenza with your audience. He said that on this video that I heard, you can have the best diet, you can be gluten-free, you can be dairy-free, you can, have all the cleanses and all the shakes and, all the supplements, all the everything. And if you never learn how to respond to your environment, your cells will continue to be produced with stress hormones added to it. That leads to, disease and cancer and everything in the body.
Right.
Like he's done studies to show that like people who spontaneously remiss from diseases, it's not because they didn't all do chemo, they didn't all do cleanses, they didn't all do meditation, like they didn't all believe in God, they weren't all atheists. Like the one thing they all had in common was the fact that they believed that whatever treatment they chose, they believed that that treatment was actually going to cure them.
Right.
And it's like the power of the mind is everything. And neuroscience and things like neuro-linguistic programming are showing us how we can actually reprogram what's in our mind to get results that we want way faster.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of, so there's lots of tools and techniques to actually shift it. And that's what you learn as a neuro-linguistic programming trainer. Yep.
And so is hypnosis just another term for neuro-linguistic?
It's not. So hypnosis is like another branch. It's kind of like a modality that works because of everything you learn in neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro-linguistic programming is basically looking at human communication and getting it to like the micro of like how different words or the way we say things affect our energy and like everything, right? And if we say in a certain way, obviously, if anyone's ever heard, there's some NLP that's used for not good reasons, but when it's used for the betterment, right? Like I just want people to like realize they're free and have the most amazing, abundant, aligned lives, healthy, happy that they can imagine. And I know that I have things that can help them do that. So then it becomes my job, like, how can I communicate this message better and better, right? In ways that lands with all of these other types of human beings and how their brains are wired, right? To have them be able to feel confident to take the steps to create what they're meant to create in their lives. So,
so it's an emphasis on communication and really getting to the root of the vocabulary that you're choosing, but probably not only to effectively communicate with other people, but so that you are effectively thinking in a certain way so that you're reaping the benefits. And because
also that
thoughts are created from the language that you've been exposed to, so I would assume that has a lot.
Also knowing your own inner dialogue and how to make sure that that's in alignment with all the good things. So yes.
So I'm super curious, you had this one experience in San Francisco that changed everything. Is that experience similar to the experience that your clients have?
Well, everybody's experience is going to feel what their experience. I've never been in their bodies, so I don't know. And people totally. So we have a free healthy hypnosis hour that we do monthly, and people can just come and experience the hypnosis. And lots of people, we follow back up with people, they're like, it's the craziest thing. I don't want my crackers today. And I
Yeah.
feel different today. Like, and every person who comes on a consult, we have them get to experience that first. And they're all like, I already see the shifts. So I guess the answer is yes, but I don't know exactly what it feels like for them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what you're going for. Like it was such a huge movement for you. And that is, kind of your mission is to really awaken people to this power. And
Yes,
that's
correct.
fantastic.
100%.
Okay. So now how does this convert? It obviously has, you work specifically with people in the, area of transformation of weight loss or weight loss transformation.
Yep.
But it sounds like you also use it in professional arenas as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that's true.
So because you said you're also an executive coach. Are these typically executive coaches that also have the challenge of losing weight, or often are you helping them on completely, in completely different areas?
Well, yeah. Well, people will come to me just for, their lifelong struggle with food, body, and weight. They realize it's a thing. And, I've done a lot of training, obviously, with hypnotherapy, and I've met a lot of hypnotherapists. I haven't met any yet who have said that they've figured out the weight loss piece, and they have ended up coming and seeking my guidance for like, what's the deal? Because underneath the surface of the weight being the issue our entire lives, and it being something that's occupying, 95% of your brain space all the time, there's a lot to uncover underneath that.
Yeah.
And I find that the more successful someone is, the more there is to unpack. That same anxiety that has fueled them to be really successful and to reach their goals, which is amazing, and like they're celebrated, is the same anxiety that makes their personal lives really not work. Their relationships, they're usually not picking good ones.
Yeah.
Or they're just, and then they've got this food thing, maybe it's alcohol. We see it all the time as a society, successful people that kind of crash and burn. So
Right.
happening a lot, but yeah, it'll always be for that main thing, and then kind of getting underneath the layers here of what's going on and how to actually provide the emotional mastery tools is the thing that I see that people are really missing for how to like move through and with the anxiety and see it in a different way and think different, thoughts about what you're experiencing right now. That just motivates them to keep going and get past it. Yeah.
Yeah. I always tell my clients that, sustainable change comes from the application, right? Like majority of the change comes from the proper application. So insight or intel or the education, the awareness is really only 20%.
Yep.
The other 80% comes from application, refining, assessing, utilizing your resources. I'm constantly telling my kids, use your resources, so don't be ashamed of asking for help or leaning into your coach and asking your coach, am I doing this right? What worked, what didn't work, and what can I do differently next time? So tell us a little bit more about your journey, kind of some of the concepts that you are now recognizing as, the pillars of, what permanent weight loss looks like. And I'm assuming that you only came to those conclusions because it worked beautifully for you. And now you're creating so much evidence through working with your clients. So take us from kind of, you've had that first session and you had this awakening. Now what?
Oh my God. Well, it's amazing and beautiful to watch when clients kind of wake up to the now what, because that was my experience as well, was like, I didn't even know that there could be a now what because it was taking up so much space. Like it was like 2% of my could actually think and like be in the spaciousness of creation, Creation comes from nothing. And if your brain is constantly in this space, ain't nothing getting created. So, Yeah, it's just really beautiful to watch because they'll be like, I'll have people within 2 calls say like, I'm realizing that maybe this has absolutely nothing to do with weight, that this is really like my lifelong insecurity, or, the fact that I just don't know, like I'm not actually confident. I'm still comparing myself to other people, even though I have this beautiful and amazing life, like they're just like, there's always these layers. So then it becomes like, okay, well then, yeah, what's going on? And then there's more honest conversations, about like, okay, well, we can be present to it now. We can, see it and unpack it. And we know when there's areas of our life that are out of balance, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Some people immediately will create and, build their entrepreneurial business up and, be so excited about that. We have a woman who does wood burning, and so now she's working on, selling that, and like, being better with people and dealing with any, stuff that comes up or limiting beliefs about, her making more money.
Yeah.
And like, but a lot of people, it's just like, they just want to be able to go to the beach with their grandkids and wear a freaking bathing suit and not be scared about it.
Right.
They just want to feel confident, and they just want to like go out and like be active. Some people want to hike mountains, some people want to ride a bike, some people just like want to like be out, social lives, actually appreciating and creating friendships because they've been too scared to go out, or they're so in their heads about what are they going to wear, and like, and it's just like people just want to be in the present moment. For
Yeah.
me, when I was Googling it, when I was there, I was just like, all I want is inner peace. Like, I don't want anything else.
Right.
And, people are like, oh my God, the trees looked so freaking green today. You know what I mean? Like the sun is shining, like they're here.
Yeah.
And
I
then as
think
things
that,
come up and we're learning how to respond, they get the emotional mastery tools to always feel like we can get back to that space quicker and quicker, which means we're not in the food, for days and days and days. You're just dealing more powerfully with life and responding better.
yeah. So I think so many people can relate to these desires that you are so beautifully articulating. I think that when people hear the word hypnosis, I think it can be a little bit misconstrued as there's somebody, it's because of you, Leslie, that and your ability to hypnotize me that I finally lost weight. And I want the listeners to understand the reality of the work that's actually being done. I think you bring to the table a lot of the, you have the training to heighten their level of awareness to help them better understand themselves. But the work is being done by the student, by the client, right?
Oh,
Like,
yes,
I think that you're
100%.
creating any sort of dependency on you. You're trying to create, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're trying to create a heightened sense of awareness so that they
100%.
recognize, how they've created the results in their life,
Right. And that was
thoughts that
something
they've
when
had
I
in the
was,
past.
researching about you, that you do for your clients as well, which I just so appreciate, of like empowering you that you can be this for yourself as well. Yeah, totally. So with hypnosis, it's not a do to process. It's really a do with process.
Mhm.
Um, something I always tell people is that the best hypnotist is the one right between your own ears.
Mhm.
What you're saying to yourself all day long, that's on a tape. I'm fat, I am disgusting. Look at these fat rolls, all this that's playing all day long. You're just re-traumatizing the neural pathways to keep you in this negative state that the body is addicted to. And so you make an agreement, you're signing up for yourself of saying like, hey, I would like to, right? Because neuroscience has proven that you can actually start, paving these new neural pathways, and through repetition and through emotion, you can actually create a completely different frequency that attracts a completely different life that's more in alignment with what you've always wanted, and
Yeah.
less eating because of it. So my hypnosis feels more like a guided meditation than it does that I know how to do all of the fast inductions and stage hypnosis, and those are amazing. I've experienced them, and But basically it's just quieting down that part of the mind that is playing that awful tape all day and giving you a break from it. And then actually, putting things in there like suggestions. I want a lean, strong, and healthy body. I want to eat moderate portions at meals, things that it's like, of course we want that, and your unconscious mind won't take on anything that it completely disagrees with. If it's not, it'll just be like, nope, you'll immediately hear it and it'll just be, same way that if I said, I want you to stand up, to somebody and they were safely able to do so, they probably would, because it's like, I know that I'm safe to stand up. What's the harm? It's not going to hurt anything. But if I say, I want you to cross this busy road blindfolded, you'd be like, hell no. Like you're still able and awake and aware to make decisions and you'll have that same impulse. But the things that are going in, especially for weight loss, is just like, things that you want. And then, it kind of creates that bridge. And then you come out of there and then your unconscious mind remembers what was said. And that's where 95% of your results come from. So if your unconscious mind heard that, it'll be like it'll happen in real life. And you're like, but I don't really want that. And then it's like this moment, and then you're like, oh, cool. And then you like get to keep choosing, and then it fuels you to want to keep going, to get your mind to stay on that track. So,
yeah. Oh, okay. So do you mind sharing with us, like what kind of results have you personally experienced?
Oh my God. Cool. Fun. All right. Well, for me, because it was decades, I describe it like the pendulum swaying, all the way over here. So everybody's journey is different depending on where you start this, but wherever you are, like if this message resonates with you, like you got to start where you are. A lot of people will be like, can I lose the weight first and then do the, it's like, you got it. Like, no, if you're at the end of the rope with your done, like you just got to go with where you're at now. But anyway, so I was really thin. I was 108 pounds at 5'2", and I had 3 years of no sugar, no flour, like militant, literally. And like, if I ever fell off the plan, I was like in such a shame spiral, binging like I never been, like it was. And then I was like, I didn't binge before I started doing this food addiction program. I started binging after. So then I started getting present to myself of being like, that doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like I'm not an idiot that this is bad, Anyway, so then I stopped believing that I was a food addict. And that's when things started getting a little, right. And then I was like binging and I like really, so then it was like, all right, well, I'm going to just be free for all here, and also learn how to actually get the emotional mastery and stuff so my weight went up, a lot at first, and it was scary. And I had to use all my emotional mastery tools to get through that and trust the process and be like, I'm here for the life haul of not being obsessed with this anymore. I did have support for myself. I'm not saying to people like, just get fat, like on your own, like get support. And, I had to heal all these inner things within me because, like there was a lot of things. My relationships weren't working. I was in not good relationships that just kept coming. And like I was traveling alone, which was amazing and stressful at the end, right? There's just so many things that was like, what's happening here, So healing all that kind of stuff, which I actually took the healer that I worked with personally and added her into our program because I was like, our clients need this woman to help them get through this.
Yeah.
So anyway, but then a big thing that I teach my clients is like your authentic lifestyle that you actually love and desire without any opinion about what anybody else thinks about it.
Yeah.
How do you want your days to be? On weekends, do you want to eat a little bit more freely and like have cocktails and like actually own what the hell you love?
Right.
Like France, one of the, they're the thinnest culture or whatever. They live off desire. Like there's nothing, it's like, why would we have anything but pleasure in our bodies? And they have no weight issues. So it's like, do you like hot chocolate? And like, do you want to savor that in the morning and like have a mini orgasm with all the sensations? You know what I mean? Like, just like the sooner that you actually stop making these foods wrong and bad, the sooner you can just like own what feels good for your body. Right. And so then when you're clear on like, this is how I want to live my life, these are the activities that feel good. For me, it was swimming. I didn't like the way I looked in my bathing suit, but I was like, but I know that every damn day I could swim and I love it,
Mhm.
And so then I just was doing that, right? And like going, and having my cocktails on the weekends and having my snacks and eating how I wanted to that fueled me for my workday. And I just trusted that if I consistently did these things just that I desire in the lifestyle that I want,
Yeah.
that my body will be whatever size it's going to be for me to have it all,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
And over time, that's what happened. I just kept feeling better and better, and then the weight came down. So it's been 3 years now that I'm in like literally 2 pounds of itself. I could
Wow.
be way skinnier, but I'm like totally, I love my body. I love my clothes. I have clothes that I love and feel amazing in.
Wow.
Like, and just I'm active. I'm, like, and I just like, I can have anything at any time, like anything, and I make sure my house has an abundance of just things that make me feel good and like all options. Um, and I just like get to be present to so many other things, like sharing this message with other people. Like that takes a lot of my brain power now, and
So I hear like kind of
living
your
life.
secrets are really this like being willing, like you have to be willing to feel it all, recognizing that it's all part of the process. So willing
Yes.
to
Yeah.
gain weight and
Yes.
still trust the process. I mean,
Yes.
that has had to have been one of your greatest triumphs, I have to
Oh
imagine.
my
When
God.
the struggle at hand is weight loss, and here you are trusting a new process and gaining weight.
Oh yeah.
Like, talk about evidence. Like Leslie has the evidence whenever she doubts, whenever those saboteur narratives show up, she has this evidence to point back to. I mean, it truly
Yeah.
has to be one of your biggest secrets to success.
Oh my God. Going towards the pain. Just
Yeah.
getting support and going towards the pain and just like trusting it. Cause yeah, that's the fear that everybody is scared to face. I was
Mhm.
scared that I would be on my 600-pound life.
Yeah.
Like I literally I was like, if I let it go, like it's a terrible thing that people are afraid of, I think everywhere. And people don't really talk about it, but it's like the fear of weight gain, period,
Yeah.
is huge.
Oh my gosh, it's
Huge.
so dramatic. Like your
Mhm.
primitive brain is so dramatic. And, without like intervening or intercepting that, it's crazy how quickly that spiral can happen.
Yeah.
So any stories in regards to using your emotional mastery tools and thought work, that you can point to certain successes, or the money that you've earned, or the business that you've created?
Everything. Absolutely everything.
All of
I
it, all of
mean,
the
to
above.
have the type of relationship that you want to have that's like super healthy and whatever, like you gotta learn how to do emotional mastery and like just understand, like just like coaching in general of understanding the differences between how men's minds works and women's if you are a heterosexual couple,
Yeah.
um but like the payoff is huge. um Definitely in business, oh my God, working with people, and just like it's so painful, it's anxiety provoking every day, and but like the way you see it is amazing, of like it's growth and it's towards what you want. But then I think the most transformational place, and I think for all my clients, if there's a scarcity about food and like waking, there's often scarcity around money as well.
Mhm.
And applying this stuff towards finances has been amazing. I would say I'm probably like right, like if the pendulum was here to
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
right, of the same with the weight loss journey, I feel like I'm right here before getting to the place with just
Yeah.
like fine, like where I literally, so where it is with food for me is like I just trust, whatever I want in whatever moment, like in the present moment. There's like, it's just a flowing issue. With money, it's like, that's the work as well, of just being like, God is, spirit is our source, or God is our source. It has absolutely nothing to do with, it's not clients are our source. Your employer isn't your source. Like we're always taken care of.
Yeah.
When we just like let go and just continue to like, all we have to do is work on feeling good 24/7.
Yeah. And
If you
isn't
notice
that
that you don't feel good, it's like, then use your resources, like you're saying. And if you don't have them, then get them.
mhm,
And
mhm.
then,
Resourceful and go find them, right? Like,
right. And then it's
yeah.
like, and that's where, yeah, just like if the ride gets fun, life
Oh
gets
my
really
gosh.
fun.
It
Yeah.
absolutely does. Yeah, I could talk about this for days and fun days. Well, so your secret to becoming self-made, thank you so much for sharing all of that. I think it is so inspiring. I know you have an ebook.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we just came out with it this past January as our New Year's gift to the world. So yeah, I put in some emotional mastery, like things you can actually do right in the book. Share more about my story so people can kind of feel like they're understood, because I know there's a big thing with shame and just embarrassment. And I've done all the things, and I talk to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that do the same stuff, and we need to start actually talking about it as an issue if it is one for you. So all that's there, the ebook, the link is hpwl.info/ebook. I believe it's still free. I believe it's still free.
Okay,
So,
so we will get that into the show notes, and then tell us how people can find you. Anybody who is interested in using hypnosis as an approach to permanent weight loss, how do they find you?
yeah. Well, if so, they want to experience the hypnosis. If you text the word hypnosis to the phone number 1-855-BE-ALIVE, text the word hypnosis to 1-855-BE-ALIVE, then you will get texted a link to talk and teach more about hypnosis, as well as the mini hypnosis session that makes a difference for people. So, and then obviously we have our podcast as well. So Hypnosis for Permanent Weight Loss. We're almost at 200 episodes, I believe. So
Awesome.
come on over.
Congratulations. That is
Oh,
amazing.
thanks.
Be Alive. Is it spelled out BEALIVE?
Yep.
Great. Great.
Yep.
Awesome. Leslie, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
here. It
Tracy.
was
Such
so
an
fun. I
amazing
think we have to have like
conversation.
I think we have to have like a once a month meetup or something.
Oh my God, that sounds great. Let's keep chatting. I hope this was in service to your audience, and thanks so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right, we will be back next week with more secrets of the self-made. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk to you soon.